Hey teens, virtual class number 12. All right, so today our warm up, we got some joint mobility, ankle circles, knee circles, calf stretch, couch stretch, kneeling hip flexor stretch. All right, and then our strength work today is going to be we're going to be landing from an object. So they're called drop landings. It's a variation on like a depth jump, if you're familiar with those. We're going to be doing these in single repetitions. So we're going to be doing 12 reps with about 20, 30 seconds of rest between each rep. And that's what we're going to be doing there is we'll be standing on an object. We're going to step off it and land into the bottom of our squat. We're going to do that for 12 reps. And then we're going to do six more, so a total of 18. Once we land into that bottom of our squat and we're nice and stable, we're going to rebound. We're going to jump up and out of that position for height. All right. And then our workout for today is over and around, 5 rounds, 4 time. It's going to be 10 box jump overs or box jumps or box step up overs or box step ups. And then it's going to be 2 plank circles around the box. So your feet will be on top of the box. You'll be in a plank, hands on the ground, like a push-up position, top of a push-up position or a plank. And you're going to walk a big circle like a clock hand around that box, right? And you're going to go around 2 times. If you don't have enough room to go all the way around the box, right, you just go maybe half, a quarter of the way, and just make sure you're covering the same amount of distance as 2 sweeps around the box would be, right? And then if that movement doesn't work for you, we can do shoulder taps, right? It would be 20 shoulder taps instead of those 2 trips around the box, right? And then again, we are still doing our weekly challenge for the gym wide 20, 15, 10 burpees, air squats, sit ups, and push ups. All right, hope you guys. All right, so we're going on to our warm up today. We're going to start just with a little bit of joint mobility for our ankles and our knees. We're going to start with ankle circles. We're going to get 5 on each direction, on each leg. So that's 5 to the right, 5 going to the left or counterclockwise, and then switch ankles. And then up to the knees, feet together, knees together, hands on the knees. And we're going to get 5 knee circles in each direction. Right. And then we're going to find an object. It can be a box, a stair, a wall. Ask your parents first about using the wall. We're going to do a calf stretch, excuse me. Ball the foot against the wall or the box or the post, right? Going to keep the knee straight. And we're just going to lean the hips in, right? You should get a stretch in the upper part of your calf. Right, we're going to hold that for about 20 seconds. I'm only going to do it for about 10 more. And then we're going to switch legs. So you definitely want to make sure you feel this up high in the meaty part of your calf. That's your gastroc. That's the muscle that does all your jumping, your explosive movements off the balls of your feet. All right, then we're going to come back to that first side. And this time, same position, ball the foot against your object. And we're just going to gently bend the knee, pressing the knee in towards the wall of the chair or the bench, right? And this is going to move the stretch lower around your ankle, so your soleus muscle. This is the one that's responsible for the stabilization of your foot and the smaller, kind of finer movements you can make with your foot. And this one you might feel wrapping around the front of your ankle, around the side. Where we don't want to feel it is right in the Achilles tendon too much. If you do, you're going to need to back off this stretch a little bit. And usually when that happens, when you feel it in your Achilles tendon, is because the first stretch we did, that gastroc muscle could be really, really, really tight, or your bottom of your foot is tight, and it's just dumping all the other parts that should be stretching during this stretch are not, and it's going into that Achilles tendon. Your Achilles tendon is really like a steel wire. It's not meant to stretch at all. And if it does, it's not a good thing. So about 10 more seconds on the left side here. And then we're going to come into a couch stretch. So I'm going to use the bench here, right? Top of the foot goes on the bench or the chair or the couch. Bring the knee down to the floor, right? We want to make sure we don't hyperextend the lower back. If we want to increase this stretch, we can kind of squeeze our ribs down, squeeze our core. It's going to rotate our pelvis back, our hips back, and it's going to pull more on our quadricep muscle. Oftentimes, if we arch back, we're going to actually dump our pelvis, our hips forward, and which will reduce the stretch on the quad. So we want to make sure we're squeezing those abs tight. Hold this for about 5 more seconds. And we switch legs. About 5 more on this side. And then we're going to come up, and we're going to go into a kneeling hip flexor stretch. So basically, this is just a lunge, right? Right. What we're going to do here is we're going to make sure we're trying to drive this hip point here forward. And as we do, we're going to bring our hand up overhead, and now we can lean back a little bit because our focus now is our hip flexor and not our quad. And then to increase the stretch, we can tilt away. So you can see this more from the front angle from this position. As we drive that hip forward, we can lean to the side away from the hip flexor we're stretching. And again, we want to hold this for about 20 seconds, and then we're going to switch sides. All right, finish up on that side, and I'll be right back with you in a moment to go over the strength work. All right, class, so our strength work today, we're going to do some, these are kind of like depth jumps. It's a variation on that. It's just a drop landing. We're going to work on stepping off an object anywhere between 6, 12 inches. This is 18. And what we're going to do is we're going to practice in our landing softly but quickly landing into the bottom of our squat. We want to make sure we can land in a balanced and stable position in the bottom with our weight in our heels. We're going to do that for a total of 12 reps, and then we're going to do 6 more reps where we come down to that bottom position, and then we're going to work on rebounding up, right? So this is strength work because as we're landing on the ground and dropping to the bottom of our squat, depending on how heavy we are and how high your box is, your muscles need to absorb all that energy, which can be considerable depending on how high the box is. All right, so what this is going to look like is we're just going to step up onto the box, right? And as we step off, we're going to try and land in our squat stance, descending to the bottom of our squat, and then come back up, right? You want to do these about once every 20 to 30 seconds, right? If you feel any sort of anything going on, discomfort in your knees, and this should not hurt, all right? So next rep, again, we just step off the box into our squat stance and come down to the bottom of our squat. I'll do a couple more of these. All right, we want to make sure we're holding that bottom position for a moment just so we know we're in balance and we're stable. We want our weight where we want it. So we don't want to find ourselves coming up not in balance. We don't want to come up too fast. We want to feel like if we needed to, and our coach told us, we could hang out down here at the bottom and then come up under control. So you're going to do that for 12 reps total. And then the last 6 reps, we're going to do work on jumping up out of that bottom position. So it's going to look like this. Right. And you can either jump for max height. You can try to increase the output a little bit as you go along. Right. So you'll do 6 of those total, about, as I said, 20 to 30 seconds of rest between repetitions. All right, pause it and go to it. All right, gang. So our workout for today, I'm calling it over and around. So it's going to be a 5 rounds for time. It's going to be 10 box jump overs or box jumps or box step up and overs or just regular box step ups, right? So 10 reps total. They can change over the course of the workout. You don't have to stick with one thing for the whole time, right? Um, I'll go over the box jump over in a moment. It's a little bit different than a box jump. And then after we finish those 10 reps, we're going to do 2 plank walking circles with our hands around the box. And I'll show you what that looks like during the workout. You'll see. If you have enough room to go all the way around your box or your object, that's awesome. I don't in here. So I'm probably going to end up doing 4 half circles to complete a round. And that's fine. If you can go all the way around the box, just make sure you're switching directions after each complete circle, right? If you're only going halfway or maybe a quarter of a circle, you're automatically switching directions the right amount of times. So what a round is going to look like, I'll take you through the different variations of the box jump over in the first round, right? So our first option is the box jump over. Couple ways we can do this. I'm going to go from hardest down to the most scaled, right? So first would be to jump completely over the box. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next object, next scale, you can do a box jump over. You can put 1 foot on top of the box, right? 1, 2, 3. When we start putting our feet on the box, the most important thing is both feet need to touch the box. If you go over, you can't just put 1 foot on the box, right? That's a no-no, right? You don't have to stand all the way up on the box like a box jump. So that is something that makes it a little bit faster, right? If we're just going to do regular box jumps, right? You can step off the box. If you want, you can jump off the box. I don't recommend it usually. There's just a lot of extra wear and tear. Really not going to save you much time. And then we can just do step overs. Again, both feet must be on top of the box. Or we can just do step overs in place. These, make sure you're standing all the way up. Hips are all the way open. All right, so we'll say we just gotten all our 10 reps in. I'm going to push my box back slightly. If you want to, you can switch to a different height object for this next movement in the workout. It's going to be the plank walk around. So essentially, I am going to start with my feet up on the box in a plank position. And that would be 1. I do that 1 more time. And that would be the end of my first round, doing 5 rounds total. Scaling for that movement. If you have no room to do a walk around or that movement is uncomfortable for you, what you're going to do instead is 20 shoulder taps in place. So feet up on the box, back to that plank position. Do 20 total shoulder taps, right? So we got 10 box jump overs, 2 circles, right? Or 20 shoulder taps. 5 rounds for time. Pause it and go to it.